Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Matt Copeland, the head football coach at Fowlerville High School. How are you, Matt?
Doing great, Casey. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So, how's the off season going? I know it's obviously been a challenge because of all the construction going around the district right now. But how has the off season been?
It's been great to get back with the guys and in the weight room and on the track, working our speed and strength. All the coaches out there who do this job know it's about the relationships. And I coached our track team in the spring, so kind of transitioned to another group of kids that I didn't get to spend a lot of time with in the spring. Those baseball players and some golfers, and so just getting back with the Gladiators has been a lot of fun. Facing those challenges with construction and all those little things that go with the big picture that I don't have to deal with all the time. I can just coach ball and teach our technology classes. So really enjoying it, having a lot of fun this summer.
So I know that obviously I know that you mentioned to me that there's a lot of interesting things going on in the district right now, especially with the district upgrading all their fun some new things, some new HVAC system to maybe help with some of the cooler and when it gets hot and when it gets cold during the year. So that'll be exciting. And of course, you guys get to go on the new practice field.
Yeah, we've had there have been would have to be a dozen or two HVAC companies running around all of our school district working on all the schools. We're lucky enough to have a sod farm company, Young's Turf Farm, who's in Fowlerville, and one of the guys who's one of the Young family is a former Gladiator, and they did a heck of a job fixing up our practice field that we haven't been able to use for a couple of years, and so we're grateful to the school board, the high school athletic department for trying to build up a great school system that we all can continue to be proud of.
All right. Well, let's talk about your team this year. How are things going? And I know how tough your division is, and it's going to be another good year.
Yeah, it is. We're right on the edge of a playoff team the last couple of years, and so we're just kind of hoping to take that next step. Just got to squeeze out 5 or 6 wins, which would have got us in the last couple of years. Our schedule is tough, but it's going to help build us into that point where when we get down to hopefully playing in week 10 that we're tested. Corunna's got a new head coach over there. Marshall's returning a lot of kids in our week 2 game. Then we get into our league, which is always going to be a weekly battle. We got a game scheduled at Central Michigan University against Sheboygan in week 8, which would be a lot of fun for our kids. And then our kind of a showdown with Charlotte that we've had the last few years. So, I like our schedule. I think if we can, put the practice hours in, do the work of men, that we can go out and play like boys, have fun on Friday nights, and see what happens.
All right. Well, we mentioned the schedule, so I know you revealed it kind of it. So you mentioned first week against Corunna at home, opening
Yep.
up the season. At Marshall week 2, St. John's at home week 3. Week 4 will be at Williamston. That Week 5 will be at home against Hazlitt. Week 6 at Lansing Eastern. Week 7 home against Mason. Week 8, Sheboygan playing up at Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan, and then finishing out the regular season home against Charlotte. So yeah, so that is the schedule. So now let's talk about some of the guys to watch this year. A lot of new faces going to be on your team this year. So let's start with offense, then go to defense, and then we'll go to special teams.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky that we got a lot of kids back who may not been in our starting group, but saw a lot of time. We're feeling pretty good about our outside receivers. Landon Ashelman and Dylan Soley, who are both back. Both really good kids. Got great ball skills, playmakers. We got Blake Jupri and Eric Helmanen back in our backfield. And as far as running back wise, they're pretty solid dudes. Sam Schrader would be a senior quarterback for us. Where there's a little quarterback battle just to keep him fresh. But he's probably going to be the guy. And he got a lot of kind of experience behind Wyatt last year, and he's a smart kid, and we're excited about him. We got some other guys that are going to take on some new spots. Young guy Cody Cruz, well, not a young guy, he's young to me. Senior Cody Cruz, Luke Dakota are looking to kind of punch into that toughness field, being a lead blocker and a back, catching some balls on the backfield. We're fired up about them. Braden Packers, a returning 3-year starter on our offensive line. We're getting back Lane O'Neill, who was injured in week 1 last year as an offensive tackle. His brother Liam O'Neill, both between Braden, Liam, and Lane, all 3 of them are state finalists on the wrestling mat. And so, we like to think we got a little toughness all the way around. And then some younger kids coming up from our JV team the last couple of years, Logan Demko, Logan Steinke, Connell Hardenbrook, just some really good athletic kids that I think if we can figure out where they fit best, that they're going to give us some depth that we're really going to need. We got Jacob Hardees, who was a defensive stud for us last year, sliding in on offense as a senior, going to probably win some playing time. In our goal to try to keep kids as one way as possible and stay fresh. I like our kids and our depth on offense. We got a couple of really young kids, some sophomores. Jacob Hodge is a really athletic kid, wide receiver. And Kellen Douglas, who's quarterback, slot receiver, running back. He's a really, really good athlete. Was one of our big contributors on the track and field team. Sprinter, part of a state final 4x100 relay team that was pretty solid. So, all around, it's going to be a great battle to fill out that depth chart for us.
Yeah. So going into this season, I know that there's been a lot of a lot of things going on with this, but now let's go into week 1. I know everyone talks about week 1 and how you prepare for week 1. I asked this from another coach I talked to earlier today, but how do you prepare for week 1 just as a coach?
For us, we really want to make sure that we can take care of our business in these first 2 weeks of practice. We got a great scrimmage over at Goodrich on that second Thursday of the week. And for us, we just got to make sure that we can execute, get ourselves into football game shape, and make sure we build those relationships when it comes down to crunch time, that our kids can look to their left and to their right and know that that's who they're playing for, that's who they're fighting for. So, we're really going to focus on ourselves with Coach Herrick at Corunna stepping down. We had a lot of battles with Steve and even other members of his family over the 25 years I've been here. We're sad to see him go because he was a good dude. The gentleman that I believe they hired, Jason, I'm not sure how to say his last name, Beldega. Don't really know a lot about him. Not really sure what their offense defense will look like, if things will change or not. So we're gonna have to do some research. Gonna have to get after the film when the scrimmage film comes out, and just try to keep it simple. The reality is it's probably going to be 85 degrees and hotter than can be that week 1, and so we'll work on getting in football shape that week 1 and going out and just kind of keeping things simple and try to control the football game and stay in it, run the football, play good defense.
Yeah. So let's I know that this week is kind of the last week of the 7-on-7 stuff. Next week is I don't, could be used as just conditioning, or, I know a lot of coaches just take that week off before things get really going on the 11th. But, what are the next few weeks going to look like for you guys?
Yeah, we have, we did our 7-on-7s in Brighton this year. Coach Lemons over there. And that was great for us because, they're the primetime Division I program, and we can go over and get reps against them. That's really big for us. So we got to look at some athletic type things. Next week's the dead week or preseason downtime it's called, and so no football activities. But we'll get together and we'll do some conditioning, trying to get in that football shape, developing that 6 second effort, 30-second rest cycle that a football game is, and we'll be competitive with our conditioning. And the old school was go out and run a mile, and times have kind of moved on since then. So we'll get into tug of war battles. We'll wrestle over a yoga ball and just kind of get in some fights with each other and figure out who wants to be the big dogs on the Gladiators.
Yeah. And then really just, these next few weeks, what do you feel like you guys got to do to get, ready for Corona?
We're pretty lucky that we lost Brett Schrader from our coaching staff, who's stepped down. He ran our defense the last couple of years, did a heck of a job. We have Justin Braska, who was kind of his right-hand man the last couple of years, who's jumping in and taking over that role. So it'll be I believe his first coordinator job. He's had a heck of a summer, put together a really good defensive plan. So that'll what we're really going to be focused on is making sure that we transition to his defense, his style, how he's going to coach a game, how we're going to game plan and develop that. Got a great amount of energy with him, and so we're excited about Justin. And that'll be kind of thing is how do we play fast and aggressive football, and try to when kids don't know what to do, they play slow. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to make sure everybody knows what to do and do it really well so we can play fast. We're not going to be the biggest team on the field in any of our week 9 games, any of our games. Everybody's going to be bigger than us. I don't know much about Sheboygan yet, but I'm guessing everybody's going to be bigger than us. So we got to play fast. We got to play aggressive and get after the football defensively. And I think that's what Coach Brask is going to have our guys doing.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for the time and best of luck to the Gladiators this upcoming season.
Appreciate it, Casey. Great talking to you.